Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, John, and here with me today is Brian.
Hey.
And Alex.
Hello.
And joining today from the podcast Horror Movie Yearbook, we have the wonderful duo of Willie Gibbs.
Hey.
And Tim Long.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, guys. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
This is a special episode because we're going to talk about Friday the 13th, which is, I'm probably like both of your guys, one of your favorite series of horror movies. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this will be fun. While you guys are listening or even watching along, why not head over to MidwestPodcastNetwork.com/support. Check out all the various ways you can support us. We've got a support store where you can buy t-shirts, hoodies, beer koozies. There's a donate button if you don't want to buy anything, which would be awesome. Don't forget to check out the Amazon affiliate link. When you buy stuff on Amazon, we get a little bit of money from that. And you don't actually have to spend anything extra. It just comes to us from Amazon. They're so kind. And most importantly, don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher like iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play Podcasts. As always, if you like what you hear, even if you don't, please do send us feedback via email at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com or via Twitter at MGN Podcast. Don't forget to add us on Instagram at Midwest Game Nerds. And now that we're streaming on Twitch, don't forget to follow us. Follow us on Twitch. You'll know when we go live, which is every other Sunday. And I've got all the hours posted for like most time zones that listen to us. And there's also a bunch of links to subscription stuff there as well. And there's a link to the Midwest Podcast Network website, which will take you to the Horror Movie Yearbook, guys, so you can check them out as well. We're also attempting to step up our social media game, so please do converse with us via those outlets. We love hearing from our listeners. We're trying to post some news bits and things. Some of the things we posted this week I'm going to touch on in the news section. But before we jump into any of that, today Alex is going to tell us what it's like being a part of the Star Trek Bridge crew, and we're going to give you guys our thoughts on the ARMS Global Test Punch, and we'll round out the reviews with the Friday the 13th before hitting some news bits before we wrap up. But anyways, before we do any of that, has anyone played anything else they want to talk about real quick?
Yeah.
Brian.
I got peer pressured into buying Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Okay.
By Jim and Charlie.
How does it compare to the beta?
It's pretty much the beta, but everything's unlocked.
Okay. That's good.
There's a story there somewhere, but I haven't been able to pay attention to it because I'm always busy talking to them or laughing about something ridiculous that happened. So
it's a lot like Destiny.
And it's really boring to play by yourself.
Yeah.
But fun to play with friends.
It's even more like Destiny.
That's where the similarities stop, though. I also very recently, like a couple hours ago, I picked up PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds finally, and I checked that out, and it lives up to the opinions I've heard of it being a bit janky and also intense and fun.
For those who don't know, it's a third-person shooter.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought it was
shooter.
first person. I was actually disappointed to find out it was third person.
It is basically the Hunger Games. You jump out of a drop ship.
It's more like
Battle Royale. Okay. It's basically Battle Royale or Hunger Games for the kids out there.
Yeah.
But basically, it's 100 people, and you get basically funneled into smaller areas.
It's that
of the
game.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be pretty good. I'm going to pick it up so I can play with Brian.
It's interesting. Yeah, you can play either solo or you can do duos or you can do squads, which I have no idea what the cap is on that. But
will it
was
run
pretty cool
on my PC?
Maybe.
Okay.
From what I understand, it kind of runs like crap on everybody's computer.
If you want to be competitive, you are supposed to play on the lowest settings possible so that the computer has to do the least amount of processing to show you what's going on in front of you.
And can't you see more people? Like it cuts all like the grass waving and shit.
Yeah, so it'll get rid of bushes essentially so you can see through bushes and see people from further away.
That's no fun. Does it get rid of the buildings too? Because that's where I've been killed.
There's a trick though. Sometimes there's an error where somebody will pop into the game and it won't load the buildings so they can spot people for the rest of their team inside of buildings. And also, if they can get a gun, which is hard because you can't find where the door is to get into a building, you can still shoot people straight through the wall.
So they've got some serious bug fixing to do before
it is early access,
it goes full esports.
But it's immensely popular already, so I expect good things to come of it.
Right on.
I played 2 matches. I got into the mid-40s before I was killed out of 100. There's actually a full 100.
That's pretty good.
I was about to shoot one person one time, and I think I had an issue because of graphical performance or whatever where I just like lagged out basically and couldn't shoot him before he shot me. Or I just suck. It could be one of those two.
You'll
or
get
both.
your sea legs
Yeah.
at some point.
Two quick questions, though.
Yeah.
A, is there any talk of console? Because I'm that guy who doesn't play on PC.
Yeah, eventually.
I mean, it's
I
early,
believe.
obviously, but
At some point, it will. I
Okay,
think
cool.
they've been chatting about it, but there's no definitive news yet.
sweet.
You
I like
can use a gamepad, and I found that out because I died and my gamepad was sitting on top of my tower and it started rattling
Nice.
and it scared the shit out of me. So
Seems
apparently
intense.
you can use that, but I would never want to use a controller for this game.
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Because you're trying to hit somebody. I mean, if everyone were using a controller, fine, but
Sure.
it's pretty diehard PC right now, and I know everyone else is using a mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
So I'm going to use a mouse and keyboard.
And then the other question is, with the 100-player limit, does it fill any empty spots with
No.
bots, or is it just whoever's in, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll start a game with less than 100
Okay.
sometimes,
And
I guess.
And people can drop in.
But right now, no.
I don't think
Nobody
you
can
can
drop
drop
in.
It'll just start
and you
around?
can't spectate, so you can't cheat or help other people.
You have to
Ah,
start
okay.
from the beginning, and then essentially, there's no way to like as soon as you're done, you don't have to stick around like in Friday the 13th to get
You
experience.
can just leave.
You're just out, so you can
Okay.
go and join another game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can imagine a game like that would last so
The-
much
yeah.
longer.
it can.
If
yeah.
you have teammates, you can spectate them if they're still alive, but that's it. You can't spectate
But
anybody else.
over time, because it does constrict the area.
Yeah.
Like games are basically limited to like 45 minutes tops or something like that.
I
That's
can't
about where
imagine
they
it lasting
last.
any longer than that based on
Yeah.
how quickly people were dying. But the other thing is too is there's a red zone circle that'll pop up and
Yeah.
it's just like carpet bombed. So you have to get the hell out of there if you're there.
People
It
just
makes you
die.
move around a lot.
Good.
You can't camp too much unless you sort of figure out where the circles are going to restrict to. But yeah, so that was cool. I also played a little bit of Mini Metro, a little bit. But yeah, that was cool. I don't do mobile games too much, but I actually
Is it free?
fired that up on my phone when I was at work the other day.
It goes on sale for like
No,
$1.
it was $1.
Oh, it was just
so
cheap.
it
Okay.
might as well be free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like planning the efficiency of subway lines, then it might be the game for you.
Right on.
Yes.
It's super simple to play, but it's difficult.
Difficult to master.
Yes.
Right on. Alex, what about you?
Yeah.
So I've been playing a couple things. I beat Horizon Zero Dawn
Yay.
finally. It's a fantastic game. It's a
Yay.
really, really awesome story about a post-apocalypse with a lot of meaning to it, and I don't
you
want to say
cry?
too much.
Did you have
There were
Alex's
actually no
tears?
Alex's tears, which I'm a little surprised
Oh.
about, but maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace for that at the time. So.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm going to say. Maybe Brian and I need to sit down and do a spoiler cast
Yeah, I
so we
wanna
can
talk
talk a
about
little
it some
more
more.
openly about it. But the other thing I've been playing is a Steam game called Dead Cells. It's in early access as well. It's like $16.99.
Looks pretty cool.
And it's essentially like, it's very much like Rogue Legacy. It's kind of Castlevania-esque side scroller where you try and fight through the castle and you collect different weapons and items that'll help you to defeat things, and also you gain powers from different bosses to traverse to different parts of the castle.
Okay.
But then if you die, you lose all of your gold and you lose all of the cells that you spend to unlock enhanced items. So it's
Gotcha.
very cool. Right now it's in early access, but it's a pretty polished game. I think they're just working on adding more to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much about it. And then I've been playing Destiny.
Yeah.
Willie, how about you?
Just Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right on. Tim?
I beat Zelda on Friday.
Oh, nice. How many
Oh,
hours?
Nice.
70 something.
70 something. What was your percentage? Do you know?
I beat it.
Well,
In
in the
It was
bottom
nine-
corner.
Don't bring that up to
It was
him, though,
19.
'cause-
19.
I was so bummed.
Whoa.
Dude, I had like 85, 90 hours or whatever,
Yeah.
and it was like 24.5%, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how is that all that I've accomplished?
Did you
in
beat like
this?
6 shrines or something?
I'm at like 60 shrines.
Really?
Yeah.
19%. What the hell?
What did you think of the final fight?
I liked it. Okay. So I was, because I've seen and I've heard some people complain that it's like not that hard.
Yeah.
But by this point, I was just like, I just want this done. Like I don't. I'm gonna
So
put
that
this
made
out
it
there.
harder.
I don't play a lot of video games.
Okay.
I usually play just Zelda, Mario, and like I used to play NCAA football, but they
Kirby?
stopped that. Oh, and Friday the 13th. Oh, and Kirby. I mostly play Nintendo.
Gotcha. So the Switch is your thing now.
It is. I like it.
Yeah.
So I got to the end, and I'm just like, I want this done with. It was like 1 a.m, and
It was just time.
I had ignored everybody, and
Yeah.
I, like for like 3 hours, and I was like, it has to be over. So I was not in the mood for anything hard at all, and so I had all the Divine Beast powers, and
Yeah.
I just went crazy with that, and then ran around till I got them back.
Right
and
on.
then hit that, and then so I just thought it was kind of fun, and I was happy.
Yeah.
And then
I
he
mean,
came
I
back
think-
and just shot arrows. At
I
him.
think it's a great way
Spoilers.
to tie up the game. Like I think it's not challenging enough to where like you get pissed and walk away from it. Like it's challenging enough to where like you have fun with it, and it's still a little bit difficult especially because like if you're not really paying attention and you get hit by Ganon like left and right, like you
Mhm.
kind of freak out because like everything in that game is like super overpowered in
Yeah.
a way, and you die really easily. So for that fight to not be like, you know, overly difficult, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a perfect way to end that game.
that and the Divine Beasts are part of the fight.
Yeah,
Like they are.
that was really cool.
I love
Well,
those.
that's a
Yeah.
spoiler. Thanks a lot.
Oh, whoops.
Is it?
No,
is it
I
really?
already knew
Is
about
it
that.
really?
Someone else spoiled that for me.
You know what though? I think
yeah.
oftentimes game developers forget that like you can have the classic last boss is the hardest thing you fight in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then on the flip side of that, I feel like it doesn't always have to be that way. Sometimes the last boss is nice for it to just be like a celebration of everything you've
well,
done.
I think the
You know what I mean?
idea with Breath of the Wild was that they wanted this game to be a game where like literally everything is possible. Like you don't even have to get the Divine Beast to beat Ganon. You can
Yeah.
do it without that. You can beat him with only 3 hearts. Like it is entirely possible to run from the starting point to the castle and kill him and be done with it within a couple hours. I think the fastest speed run was like under an hour. So it's entirely possible to not like, you know, spend time playing the game. It's all about having the ability to do and create and fight and have whatever weapons and armor setup you want in this game. So it wasn't a focus of like, let's create the most difficult game we can. It was, let's create the most playable game that we can.
Mm-hmm.
And they achieved that, I think. So
No, I loved it. Yeah, I thought
Awesome.
I thought it was one of the best Zelda games I've ever played. So I
Right
liked
on,
it a lot.
man.
Yeah.
cool.
Just real quick, what was your favorite Zelda before this?
Oh, it's Ocarina.
Okay.
That's what. And when I say I was on like Zelda message boards, and they were complaining about the fight, and I'm like, there are people on there that complain about Ocarina of Time. They're like, it's just a bad game. I go,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
so
What's-
mainstream. It's all about Zelda
What?
2.
Ugh.
Sorry, listeners. Yeah.
So people like Zelda 2 are like the same people who like Godfather 3.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
liars.
I don't want to associate with those
Yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm. They're the ones who like Wayne's World 2. Am I right? I'm just kidding.
Hey, no.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey,
That's a different argument.
Patrick, let's not say anything
entirely.
I'm
crazy.
joking. I'm joking. Anyway.
What have I played? I've played a lot of Destiny again. I
Yeah, me
had
too.
I had decided a while ago that I wasn't going to play any more Destiny, but because I was just waiting for Destiny 2 to come out. But then I kept hearing things about how you get different unlockable stuff, or not unlockable necessarily, but you get different things for what you've accomplished in Destiny, like once Destiny 2 releases. So being that I purchased it for PlayStation, I hopped on PlayStation, I purchased Rise of Iron, and I am now in the process of getting my characters like to a proper light level to do the raids so that I can actually fill out my Age of Triumph book as much as humanly possible before Destiny 2 comes out with my free
Yeah,
time.
I suppose I should speak about it a little bit more. But basically, I bought The Taken King a long time ago. As people know, I decided to start playing through it, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit because there's lots of Nathan Fillion in it. And it's been a little bit rough because I can't use any weapons that I like yet. I just have to glom on to the stuff that's better than what I have at the moment.
Yep.
But I'll start. I just hit the maximum level, so I can start getting things that I actually want to use. But
Yeah.
that's all I really need to say about Destiny at this point. Maybe we'll do more next week when there's less to talk about
Sure.
after E3 happens. Never mind.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so Destiny, blah, blah, blah. The usual. That being said, Nick introduced me to the Destiny Ghost Stories podcast. I've really been enjoying that. So if you're into the lore, check out that podcast. It's really cool. Those guys do a really nice job, and I actually hit them up recently to see if maybe they'd be willing to have me sit in and talk. Cause,
That'd be awesome.
The lore in the game, well, it's not really in the game, but the lore of the game is incredible, and it's extremely intriguing. And to have a group of people who have dedicated themselves to like figuring it out and like piecing it together, even though a lot of it is speculation on their part, like because they don't know, they didn't write the game.
Yeah,
is really cool because there's so much lore,
There's
and
a lot.
it's astounding how much they're able to like piece together with. I don't know where they find the time, because a couple of the guys are on like Dads of Destiny, like they're in that clan because they're dads and they have families and stuff. Like, how do you have time to do this and take care of kids? They must not sleep. Like,
or they're
Yeah.
they're just terrible fathers.
Yeah. Or they're terrible.
Hopefully
I don't
not.
know. I mean, their kids
Hopefully
are
not.
always screaming in the background. So it's entirely possible. But anyways, moving along here, Alex, how
Yes.
does it feel to be a part of Starfleet?
It's so rad.
Yeah.
it's really, really awesome.
Is it like Keep Talking and No One Explodes, like to an extremely larger
It's-
level?
I would
or-
liken it more to Space Team.
Okay, Space
Because
Team.
it's essentially Space Team, but all of the directions that everybody is receiving only go to one person, the
Okay.
captain. So the captain receives the objective of what they need to do. And then the person who's at the helm needs to go, and they're steering the ship and preparing for warp and doing things like that. But other than that, I'm going to check on the stream here for a
Yeah, I don't
second,
know what
make
just
sure that
happened.
we're working. I think we're still
looks
working.
like it's going back up.
Yeah. So, the person at the helm gets to steer the ship, prepare to warp, and make sure that you're not hitting things. And then there's another role to the tactical person gets to scan space objects and see if they're like harmful or if they have living things on
Okay.
them, stuff like that. And then engineering gets to like direct power to different parts of the ship. Like you can get your shields up to 5, so you can have really strong
Are you
shields.
sure this is working?
Yeah, I'm sure it's working. It's got a we're fine.
Okay.
We're good. This still said it's working, so we're all right. But basically the sorry, the ship is burning right now. I'm trying to do. There's only one person
You don't have the full
at the
command.
helm. Yeah,
you don't
I only have one person on my,
don't have
on my
your
bridge
bridge
crew team.
Yeah, we've got one person running the entire Enterprise here.
So basically what it comes down to, the captain gets an objective, and then he has to give directions to the other 3 members of the team
Okay.
in order to accomplish those objectives.
So it's 4-person teams.
4-person teams. You can match make if you want. You can do private matches, or you can even try single player where you can like teleport into the body to whoever you need to use at that particular time.
Oh, no thanks.
It's hard. Like I tried one game like that. It's a good way to maybe learn what each person does.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's much better to get a team. I've only been able to play with a group of randos.
I just
and-
imagine you sitting there playing single player and like assuming the characters in those positions, but speaking in different voices to yourself, like Captain.
I did not.
We
go
must
that
go
far.
into warp speed.
You can be a Vulcan
yes.
and a Klingon, I believe. I think
I'm
you can
Patrick
change-
Stewart.
Yes. But no, it's very interesting. Like getting to sit down with a group of randos and come in as the engineer and basically be like, all right, I will take your directions as you feed them to me.
Hello,
Like these were 3 people that had,
Victor, with your Russian accent.
he's not engineering, John.
Well, I don't know what his job
He's
is.
more of a helm guy.
That's fine.
But
But you should try and just like
try to assume the
or
Just
Yeah,
check off.
get method.
get real into
In this
it.
game.
Yeah, go
Start
go
doing
full
voices.
Daniel Day-Lewis and like just make it happen. Like really ruin someone's life who takes it way too seriously by taking it even more serious than they do.
I can't do it, Captain. I haven't tried to do that yet. That might-
she's got.
That might be a whole nother level of experience with that game. But I bought it.
You got to buy a Starfleet uniform too.
That would be pretty good. I bought the game. I'm going to play more of it. I want to talk about it more in the future. But basically, it's awesome. And it would be even more awesome if I knew 4 people that all had the game. But I'm not currently able to have a group like that.
Yeah.
Because you haven't bought it.
I'll pick it up.
I only know like 4 people that have PlayStation VR.
I will.
so.
I will pick it up.
Have you
at
been
some
captain
point.
yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not with like a group of other people.
I'm just trying. Who do you think your captain style would be?
Kirk.
Kirk or Picard?
I see. Here's the
Avery
thing.
Brooks?
Do you get to leave Starfleet logs?
No, you don't. I mean, you can try.
In the toilet?
But I would think that I end up more of a Picard, although
Yeah.
I haven't seen as much Next Generation as I should.
Right.
I thought I'd be more of a Kirk guy, but he
Well,
seems super Republican, and that's clearly
Kirk's-
not me. So
Well,
You have to
Kirk's
talk
got-
like Kirk the whole time.
I can't seem to
You don't want to be Kirk too,
get to Alpha 1.
because
Plus-
Kirk's kind of a bad captain,
Yeah,
and I love
he's-
him. He's my
he's pretty
favorite.
terrible.
Yeah, and I
Right.
mean, let's be honest. How much alien ass have you really slayed?
It's true.
You're
Very
Scott
true.
Bakula.
You're not. You can't be. Well, Janeway. Janeway's kind of in the same vein as Picard,
It's Picard.
but you can't be Cisco unless you're a screaming
Just
lunatic.
absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
Wait,
yeah.
like thong,
No.
thong, thong, thong?
Not
Cisco?
that Cisco.
No,
Oh, shit.
Captain Benjamin Cisco.
Wouldn't that be special?
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
Cisco may be a space captain. The Thong Song Cisco.
Yeah.
He may be a captain.
I mean,
but
his
not the one
hair
that
is
we're
silver.
talking about.
He's
True.
from space,
What if he had
clearly.
a silver
Anyway.
Starfleet suit that?
Oh, it'd be
matches his hair?
amazing.
Before
Yeah.
this goes too
Ooh.
far off rails, I'm
Too
done
late.
talking about Star Trek. We should move on to something else.
All right. Anyways, ARMS Global Test Punch.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many played it?
Yep.
I have.
Willie didn't.
Raise
Four
your
of us.
arms.
Willie doesn't have
All
a
right,
Switch.
Willie, are you familiar with ARMS?
No.
Do you
Okay.
have them?
You do have some
I got
ARMS.
two.
You've
So
got
check
arms.
this out.
Okay.
ARMS is like the Nintendo Switch's premier fighting game that is online based. I'm sure there's an offline version of it.
Yeah.
But it uses motion controls as well as all of the other various controller types that you can have with the Nintendo Switch.
That's cool.
The ARMS Global Test Punch took place over Memorial Day weekend. I think there's another one coming up.
No,
Is-
it was last weekend and this weekend.
And this weekend?
it's-
Okay.
I think
Whoops.
they're done until it comes out this month.
Yeah, so I only got to play it for about 45 minutes or so. And basically, you could play as a handful of the different characters. You could swap out the different types of
Some
arm
would
types
say an
that they had.
armful of the different
An
characters.
armful,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
Definitely had your hands full.
Yeah. Fucking these assholes. But anyways,
I hope this is our most downloaded episode.
it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great. I thought ARMS was awesome.
Yeah.
This is a game. I've said this several times. This is a game that when they announced the Switch and talked about this game, I was like, that looks retarded, and I don't want to play it. It looks stupid. I don't want anything to do with it. It looks like the worst game in the world. But the more they've released about it, the more I'm like, this is kind of cool. This is interesting. And then finally, I was like, I can't wait to play this. And then I finally got to play it, and it's awesome. It is really cool. It is super
See-
unique. It has a pretty extreme. Well, I don't know if it's extreme learning curve, but it's a pretty pretty solid learning.
I think
curve.
it's easy to play, difficult to master.
Yeah.
Is it within arm's reach?
God
You
damn
couldn't
it.
even get through that one.
I think Nintendo fans are gonna welcome this game with their arms wide open.
Yeah. Okay. With arms wide open.
Someone had to do
Oh,
that.
they're
All right,
sad
Brian, what did you think of Arms?
I felt similar to, like, I had the same kind of opinion as John before I played it, that it didn't look that interesting to me. And then I read more about it and thought, oh, there's probably some depth to it. And then I played it and decided there probably isn't. And I don't think I want to play it ever again.
He got his ass kicked by everyone.
I did. Everybody was a pro already. Like, what the hell?
The
It's
game,
Test
the
Punch.
game's not even out, and everyone is already better than Brian.
Yes. I don't like that.
Were you only playing? What did you try? Motion controls and
I
normal
tried
controller?
both, but I much preferred the motion controls.
Okay.
That part I thought was cool.
Yeah,
But
it actually works.
I could not tell what the actual difference was between the different types of arms that you put on,
Yeah.
other than like the animations for them. It didn't seem like I was like attacking in any different way. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, because I didn't have time to actually sit there and learn the game at all.
Yeah.
Yet everybody else apparently already knew how to play. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably not for me anyways, because I don't like fighting games, period.
Maybe that's a testament to how easy it is to pick up. That everybody
Even
was
a
so,
toddler can whip my ass.
Everybody was so good at it already. How would you know it's a toddler? The voice chat is
Yeah,
just
there's
not
no-
Yeah.
there yet.
We'll get
Oh,
to that
yeah,
later
yeah.
on.
That's in my
later.
news segment.
Tim,
Tim, what did you think?
Oh, okay. I liked it. I played for like half hour, so
Okay.
I don't have any real in-depth thoughts on it. I thought the characters were cool, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
important for fighting games.
It does
Yeah.
look really cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked great.
the theme song is awesome.
The theme song's
It is
really good.
Yeah. Super Japanese.
I was happy that the motion controls don't suck, which is nice.
Yeah.
And probably at first I thought it was going to be like Punch Out, the Wii version,
Okay.
which was impossible. if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So I was pleasantly surprised by it. I'll probably pick it up. I just mainly wanted to test it out to see if I would buy it, and I'll probably buy it. They seem to be having a single player mode. I'm going to die. All these arms puns have choked me. I can't help it. So I enjoyed myself for 30 minutes. I'm hoping the online system has kind of like a Mario Kart style thing where they place you against people that are also terrible.
Yeah,
So.
I think they'll have something like
Me
that.
too, yeah.
I think that's important.
Proper matchmaking of some sort.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure there are other games that do it, but I've only played Mario Kart online because I don't like being.
Yeah, I got
yelled at.
my ass whooped on that too.
Yeah, me too. I do it all the time. Well, they usually place me in a session where I can at least compete for most of it. But
That game I at least understand if people are
Right.
good, because for one, they've been able to play it for years.
no, I
Yeah.
got beat every time on this one too. So it wasn't even close. Amy jumped on and won. My girlfriend jumped on and won the first game.
Oh yeah,
and
well,
like
let's
I
not
walked
even
out of the road.
Talk about that. We did play Mario Kart like a week ago.
Yeah.
Was it?
And Megan destroyed
Yeah,
you.
she beat everybody. Like Ricky and I both own it, and she just destroyed us. It was
Yeah.
not.
Which is funny because
And I told her she's not invited over to play anymore.
It's a common stereotype that most women can't drive normally, but
Okay,
you
John.
throw them in a go kart.
Yeah,
On a
where they can
computer
crash
screen.
into you and do shitty things.
Yeah.
yeah.
oh
win.
man, I liked arms.
I don't feel that way. I'm just saying that is a
The
common
views of John Morrell
stereotype.
do not represent the views that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I liked arms quite a bit. There are a lot of different modes that they had people playing. I really liked the volleyball mode quite a bit.
I hated that.
I
I
thought it
hated
was
it because
great.
I couldn't figure out how I'm supposed to move.
You just aim at
while
the
I-
volleyball and hit it.
Yeah, but what if I want to move somewhere while I'm trying to hit the volleyball?
You should hit it first and then move.
See, I need like two more for this game to work well for me. What I would like is two more of the Joy-Cons with like these straps that I can buy to put them on my legs, so it'll like the motion control of my legs would.
You've become more a machine than
You're
man.
thinking about
Yeah.
this way too much. There are a few other modes that
It's
are really
not legs.
interesting. Yeah,
No,
this
but
is
the
not
sequel
game's not
might
called
be.
Leg.
arms and legs.
You're just kicking.
There's another mode that actually pits several fighters against like a boss character that has like 6 arms. That's the only round that I lost the whole time that I played because it was
Maybe you kicked Brian's ass.
I was gonna say,
maybe.
did we play you?
potentially. I beat pretty much every round that I played. It was a lot of fun. I did a lot better with the controller than I did with the motion controls.
Yeah.
But I think the motion controls, if you can master them, will be better because it allows you to individually steer each punch. Whereas
cool.
with
Yeah.
with the Pro Controller or like the normal Joy-Con
You
thing,
have to use the sticks, right?
you have to use the sticks, which will aim them both in the same direction. You
Right.
can't like
Yeah.
separate it out like that. So being able to cover more space by like judging where both like each arm will go, I think will offer people a greater advantage when playing the game.
That's
But-
cool. Yeah, I thought the level design was really unique too. Like
Yeah.
I did one level that was at like a pagoda or something like that. I don't remember exactly what
Yeah.
it was, and it was on like
Steps.
on stairs.
Yeah.
Like, and
Oh, that
that
was
was
cool.
just like, what other fighting game does that? Like,
Yeah.
it was really unique.
One of the
So-
rounds that I got close to losing was a 3 free-for-all, 3 people free-for-all
Oh,
on that
geez.
stage,
Yeah.
and I managed to start in the middle, and then they were on either side of me, and I just got almost obliterated within the first few minutes, and then I managed to like pull it out. But
It's too bad you can't just like out to the side and like just like punch both of them.
I
in
know
the
I
face
haven't.
at the
I didn't
same
try
time.
that. I don't think it would work, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
If you
So-
had the leg controllers, you could also kick them.
God, those fucking leg controllers.
Oh man.
They should give someone a hammer and call him Army Hammer.
Oh boy. Well,
I almost got
Anyways,
walked
is
out.
that enough about arms?
So we like the arms.
Did we lose any
like-
listeners on that one?
Not
No,
yet.
we've been holding steady at
We're still
4
at 4.
viewers.
Well, don't give it time.
Two of the viewers are myself and Alex.
All right.
Yeah, we like
yeah.
it. I'm interested. I'm probably going to pick it up.
Yeah,
I'm
I want to
not-
play some more.
Can't say the same about Splatoon, but definitely feeling arms. So
Yeah.
I
just stop, Brian.
Feeling your arms.
Feeling like this.
I
Like,
like having arms.
like giving myself a hug.
They're nice.
Anyways, so Friday the 13th has come out. The online portion of the game is out. The single player campaign is coming out in like a month or so, I think.
In the summer at some
Sometime in
point.
the summer.
I did not get to play it at all. So now this is your guys' turn to. This is my turn to pull a Willie and just chill.
Well, okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Just kick back, man.
So let's talk about Friday the 13th.
I want to give a real quick. This is a multiplayer game, but it is asymmetric multiplayer. You can have one person as Jason. There's always one person as Jason, and then there's up to 7 counselors that he needs to hunt down
And
and
it's
kill.
random.
It's like Dying Light be the zombie
It
mode.
can be.
It's like
Sure.
Evolve more than anything, I would
Yeah,
say.
Evolve is
Yeah.
maybe the closest. And there's a game called Dead by Daylight that's been out on PC for a while, coming to consoles next month.
Evolve, but you've got like very few resources to defend yourself.
Yes.
They've got like giant machine guns at least, but
And
you have a
Jason's a
butter
lot
knife.
smaller than those monsters.
that's true.
So,
But still very persistent.
More powerful, though. I would
Willie,
say.
you haven't gotten a chance to talk too much. What do you feel about the game as it stands representing the film series?
Purely as a representation of the film series, oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it looks like the Friday the 13th series circa like part 3. And that's a good thing. That's kind of the quintessential, like, if somebody says, hey, I want to watch a Friday the 13th movie, what's the best representation of a Friday the 13th movie? It's probably part 3. Not my favorite, but it feels like that era of those movies.
Yeah.
The counselors all feel like a lot of them I feel like are based on actual characters from the movies.
Chad?
They're not using, yes, in a way. I mean, there's been a few Chad-type characters.
Yeah.
Did
over
they
the
make
course
that
of the
face?
series. No.
I'm trying to-
in
the remake, yeah.
Trent makes plenty of faces like that. So yeah, I would say that's the closest to Chad. That he's fantastic. You should watch that movie. But no, absolutely. I mean the layout of the maps looks exactly like the layout of the camps in the various movies. There's only 3 maps available right now. I would assume they're probably gonna, if the game does well, which minus certain issues, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. It seems like it's doing well from a sales perspective, at least.
It's doing better than they thought it would.
Yes, which is part of
has
the problem.
created problems.
But it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the maps are based on Crystal Lake from the original Friday the 13th, the Packanack Lodge from Part 2, and Higgins Haven from Part 3. So they're definitely focusing more on those early films. But yeah, it captures the feel totally. And, just the Jasons feel like Jason from the movies. I mean, the Part 2 Jason can run or kind of do like a hillbilly trot.
Oh, so
Um,
each like version of Jason has different perks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Different
Different weapon,
weaknesses.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
They all have their own weapons, which every weapon that they use is kind of the primary weapon they used in that movie,
Yeah.
generally. And like anything post Part 4 is like undead Jason because
Okay.
of reasons, and so he becomes zombie Jason. He doesn't run anymore. So they made sure they included that. Like Part 6, 7, 8, and 9 Jasons, they don't run, but that doesn't mean they're any worse off than Part 2 and 3.
Right.
Maybe their shift ability, which is the ability to kind of fire forward like first person camera style, like quickly through the woods, and pop up next to somebody. Maybe that ability charges faster for those guys, so they don't need the run as much.
Gotcha.
So I feel like the Jasons I played, and I've had the least amount of time with Part 3, but the ones I played, they all have their strengths, and I think that people are going to find which ones fit their play style the best.
Right on.
So yeah, it feels like the movies, and they've succeeded in that, right, for sure. There's
Yeah.
no question. Yeah.
And one other thing, just to kind of explain, the different counselors also have different stats.
Yeah.
So there's certain activities in the games, like as a counselor or as Jason to win, you have to kill all the counselors.
Right.
As a counselor to win, you have to escape somehow. So there's kind of 4 or 5 different main ways in order to escape from the campsite.
Yeah, there's the lame one, which is run out the clock.
Yeah.
But it works. I mean, you could technically run out the clock.
Rounds
like
are
some
Didn't work
people
for me.
Sitting at this table tried to do.
Rounds are 20 minutes long.
20 minutes long, so you could run out the 20-minute clock. Very hard to
God,
pull
that
off.
sounds
I mean,
so long.
It's
for,
so
an
long.
Yeah,
online-
especially
I
with Jason
browsed a
Roberts, too.
lot of the web doing that, trying to do that.
It's very hard.
waiting
to-
in a locker.
the
Yep.
clock.
Yeah, I was in a closet. the
But
whole
it's
time.
actually a lot of fun to spectate the game too.
Yeah.
Once
so
you,
that's
once
the
you get
cool
killed
part.
off, which is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
It is fun to watch as long as people are playing the game.
Yeah.
and not just
It's
sitting in a
probably
closet.
great to see the inside of a cabinet.
Oh,
We-
it's fantastic.
We have a
15
question.
minutes.
We have a question from the Twitch. Who is your favorite Jason and counselor to play as, and why? So let's go around the table.
Wow.
I can start.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I don't have him yet, but I want the Jason from Part 2 because he doesn't have a hockey mask. He just has a bag around his head, and I find that hilarious.
And overalls.
And overalls. Yeah, he looks like a hillbilly, essentially. It's fantastic. So that's going to be my favorite Jason to play as. And then my favorite counselor has to be Chad, which is really disappointing because he's terrible at repairing things, which is one of my favorite things to do in the game. But Chad is the star of the game. Like every time you open up every time a game opens up, there's the same cinematic of Jason killing a guy, and then you see Chad's
It's the
terrified
same guy
face.
every time.
Chad has this terrified face that has like no actual facial animation at all. It's like not based on
It's
any
beautiful.
real.
Just like mouth agape and
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
almost like a gaping hole
It's-
of like.
Can everybody try to do a Chad face real quick?
Yeah,
Just
it's
at the
kinda
same
more
time?
like-
I can't. My mouth is too small.
So, so Chad's my favorite just because he's the lamest but most awesome counselor in the world.
Lame but lovable.
You're right. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Part 6 for me in terms of Jason's.
Okay.
I kind of went into it knowing that was the one I wanted to mess around with the most. I'm a big fan of that movie. So but I like playing as him a lot. It turns out.
Which one's part 6?
He has the fence post spear.
That sounds
His
fun.
range is really good. Although I will say, playing with part 2, Sackhead, since I unlocked him, his range is better. That pickaxe he swings is mean.
Pretty,
Ooh,
pretty
yeah.
big, pretty wide swaths.
It's fun to watch people die getting
Yeah.
hit by the pickaxe
Yes.
for sure.
Yep. And then part 6 starts with more throwing knives than the others.
Okay.
And I do like using throwing knives. If you can lead somebody, people tend to gravitate towards running down the main roads, which is
Yeah.
not a great
I
choice.
don't.
Because you're right out in the open.
Because you're right out
I'm
in the
all
open,
about going
and
in
I
the
can
woods.
stand there and just wait with my hand just cocked and ready to throw the knife, and I just had to wait for you to run past a certain point. You're done, you know. I mean, so I like him quite a bit, and his powers recharge at a pretty quick rate. I've noticed, so
Okay.
he works for me. Counselor wise, I've been playing mostly as Kenny
Kenny.
because he's average Kenny.
Yeah, he's not.
Every stat is 5 out of 10.
He's
so
not good or bad
Gotcha.
at anything.
He's solid at everything.
He's just a solid Kenny.
He's a
Yep.
solid
Yeah.
Kenny. Plus, he has a beard and he wears plaid, so I feel
So
right
he-
at home.
he's-
Yeah, okay.
With Kenny.
Yeah.
And actually, real quick, funny enough, 3 people paid to be for a Kickstarter tier to be counselors
in the game. Yeah.
In the game, and Kenny is one of the guys that paid
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome.
to be. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's pretty
Tim,
sweet.
What's your favorite Jason and your favorite counselor?
Okay, I'll preface my Jason pick by saying anytime, like, probably get into this later on, but anytime I played as Jason, 75% of the time it's kicked me off.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think we got to get you guys better internet.
No, that's probably it too. It's part 3 because you can run,
Okay.
and I have part 2 now. So I just unlocked part 2, so I'm not that far into unlocking things. But it's part 3 because you can run, and I'm not. At first, I was worried because there's too much pressure on you as Jason at the
There's
start.
a lot of pressure.
Like you have to kill everybody,
Yeah.
or you're a failure at the game. So
Yeah.
like I didn't. And I'm not real comfortable with video games a lot of the time. So like I was worried. I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this.
Performance
Like I was
anxiety.
seizing up. I was like convulsing on the
Stage
floor.
fright. Yeah.
I can't do this. Kicking my legs. Yeah.
Fetal position. Just
Yeah.
crying.
So then, not to worry, my internet just cut out, so I
There
didn't
you
have
go.
to worry
Pressure
about it.
gone.
Pressure.
Yeah, so I just made everybody mad. And then, as far as counselors go, yeah, I mean it's Chad.
Chad's just
I like when you get a group of Chads.
yes.
Yeah.
We had one game that randomly, before we even really fully developed our love of Chad, on the first day, we had a game that had 4 Chads. That was I think it was randomized at that point, probably.
Yeah.
And we just had 4 different Chads running around by happenstance. And I think that was kind of what sold us all on Chad. But
I read on Reddit there was a group of guys that he said he jumped to this guy's like I jumped into the lobby, we went into the game, and all of a sudden I saw like 5 Chads charging at Jason with machetes and axes and stuff. And they were playing Ride of the Valkyries on their and Jason was running from them. And I'm like, I wish I could have been there for that. Like that sounds perfect to me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have favorites as of yet? I know you haven't gotten to play as much as you
Well,
would
Chad is my favorite, but I don't like playing as Chad.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
like. That's fair.
You like observing Chad from afar.
I picked the one that's, I don't even know her
AJ
name.
is her name,
Sort of
with the red
reminds me
pants.
of one of the characters from Until Dawn. I think that's why I picked her.
With the red
So-
pants?
Yeah.
That's AJ. I
Okay.
think, right?
Which one is that? I'm sorry.
The girl that has the red pants and like the striped shirt.
No, that's AJ's the rocker chick.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
it's not
I'll be
her.
honest. I don't remember who the.
Okay.
She's kind of modeled after Chris Higgins from Part 3, like the final girl, like the good girl who makes it out, kind of.
She looks like the good girl that would make it out.
Yeah.
That's why I picked
The
her.
final girl.
Yeah, that's
for
nice.
sure.
But I never make it out.
Yeah. So to run down the list real quick of ways that counselors can win for John and our audience, essentially, you can repair the car. So you have to get a battery and gas and keys to run the car,
Mm-hmm.
and then that allows you to then drive the car out. You do have to actually steer the car
In
and
first
not
person.
hit things, because whenever you hit like a fence, the car stalls out. You got to start it up again.
Oh, jeez.
If you ever ram into Jason with the car, he will
Kind of smash the hood of the car.
yeah, he smashes the hood of the car and stalls it out again, and then he can go and just
yank you out of the car.
Yeah. And then there's the boat. Boat needs gas and a propeller.
Yep.
And then you can get out that way.
Yep.
Or you can repair the fuse box to use the phone in one of the cabins in order to call the cops. And then you have to wait 5 minutes and make it to the exit by
One
any
of
means.
a couple exits.
Yeah.
Because it's randomized as to where they're going to show up.
Yep. And then
And we should mention, not all maps have 2 cars.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
there's one car, and then sometimes actually all the time, if there's 2 cars, one's a 2-seater, so only 2 people can get away in it, and
Okay.
one's a 4-seater. So you have to kind of balance and play checks and balances with yourself. Like, okay, I've just found a battery. The guy I'm with just found gas and the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Do we just we're closer to the 2-seater car. Do we just want to be dicks and get in and just take off?
Yeah.
Or do we want to try and make it across the map to the 4-seater and grab a couple more people to survive?
Right.
Yeah, that's part of the. I think that's one of
Yeah.
the more thrilling aspects of the
Definitely
game.
throwing people under the bus is a viable strategy. For this.
It is, and I actually, I mean, there was a moment where I was putting the battery in a car. It was the last piece to go. The guy right next to me had the keys. It had been gassed up already. We were good to go. And I'm just going to open the car door to get in, and this guy, one of my fellow players, walks up to me with a baseball bat and hits me in the back of the head.
What? I
And
didn't
knocks
know
me
you
out,
could
and then,
do that.
And then jumps in the car and rides off with the other guy. And at first I was pissed because I'm like, oh, this is just some kind of griefer, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, that's a. I mean, I wouldn't do
it's
it.
a valid way
but it's
to,
a valid way
yeah.
to do it. So
It's very cutthroat.
There's
Like,
usually one of those assholes in these movies.
one
right?
of the yeah.
Yep.
that
One
just
of the,
cares about themselves.
Yep.
One of the first rounds that we played, it was a public round. I think it was Gojo, Willie, Tim, and myself with, I think, maybe 3 or 4 other people. Tim was playing as Jason, and it didn't quit out.
Mhm.
But I had gotten the boat all gassed up. I found the propeller. I did all of it myself as Chad, who has a 1 repair out of 10.
So it
Yeah.
takes forever to repair.
So it
something.
takes forever to make it happen. But I managed to
Dumb
get in there
Jack.
and do it. And I was waiting for Willie and Gojo to come and find me. And then Tim showed up at the boat as Jason. And I was like, damn it, I got to run away. So I ran away. Tim started chasing me. And then these 2 other fuckers from the public, from the random people
Were they
that showed up,
Chads?
I don't know who they were. They
They
got
were
into
Chads
the boat.
inside, yeah.
Yeah, they embodied Chad, but they got into the boat and then they just took it, and I ended up dying that round. I was fucked. Tim managed to get me, but it's kind of great that I wasn't mad about it because I was
No.
like, this would happen in a Friday the 13th movie.
The only thing I get mad about, and I think maybe this is a good place to talk about a couple of the issues that affect this game.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, what are
Hiding
some
for
of these
18
issues?
minutes.
No,
Is that an
you're
issue?
fine. You're fine. I mean, hey, you were trying to run the clock. Good for you.
What
Just
about-
not fun to watch?
What about Swiss Army knifing you in the face twice as you're playing as Jason?
No, that pissed me off. So you can find Swiss Army knives.
Okay.
That's just a random item you can find. And basically what it means is if Jason grabs you, it's an instant escape. You jam it into his neck and get out.
Do you have to initiate that,
Nope.
or it
Nope,
automatically
it's
does
automatic.
it? Oh, that's cool.
It's totally
Yeah.
automatic. So this son of a bitch,
It's only when Willie is Jason.
I'm chasing him around. He's the last one I have to kill.
Oh, I
and
remember
he's
this.
he's driving me nuts because every single time I grab him, he's got a goddamn pocket knife. Like, how do you keep? You can only hold up to 3.
Fucking Chad.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so mad at it.
It was
I
great.
finally got him eventually, but
Yeah, he could have gotten. So there's context kills that give the counselor enough time to struggle away from Jason, but Jason has to move to it in order to do that kill.
Okay.
And so I think one of the times that this happened, we were in a cabin that had a fireplace.
I was trying to
in
kill
it.
him with the fireplace because you take their head and you shove it in the fireplace and then stomp on their
Yeah.
head. It's on fire.
Oh, God, I did that. It was so
man.
awesome.
Awesome.
I cheered.
It's amazing. It's like a celebration of life through death. But Yeah, he wouldn't.
Yeah. So basically, by the third time that I had gotten away from Willie, he just picks me up and then immediately decides to kill me without
Yeah, I
trying to
just
get me
punched
to the
his
fight.
head
He's
off.
like, I can't
I was like-
take a chance that he's going to get
Yeah.
away again.
Because we were getting close to the end of the match at
Yeah.
that point. It was. I don't think the 2-minute warning had hit, but it was close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. But no, in terms of teammates, yeah, I'm all good with. Look, if you're that kind of dick and you want to shoot me before I get into the car, even though I did everything to repair the car, hey, you know what? You made your choice. You gotta live with it. But you made your choice. However, if you're the kind of person who wants to go on and play the game to where you are trying to help Jason track down your fellow counselor
Yeah.
teammates,
Yeah.
you're an ass.
Yep.
That's not the way the game's meant to be played.
Yeah, because we haven't mentioned yet the idea that chat in the game, if you are playing in the game, not in a party chat, it's all by proximity. So if you are close to somebody,
Okay.
That
then
includes
they
Jason.
can hear you, including Jason. Or if you find a walkie-talkie in the world, you can talk to anybody else that has a walkie-talkie.
Anywhere
That's
on the map.
sweet.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's-
it's one of the
it's
best
very
aspects
cool.
of the game, I think. And so party chat almost kind of ruins it.
Party
a little
chat
bit.
ruins it because
Yeah.
everybody can hear each other off the go. You can make Jason leave, but it still kind of gives the counselors the advantage of coordinating because
Yeah.
you can be like, "Hey, I've got the gas, you've got the keys, he's got the battery. We can all get to the
I mean,
car."
that was
When
one
I
of the-
was
Go ahead.
when I was hiding, I actually flipped my switch to mute the whole time,
Yeah.
so you couldn't possibly hear me.
That's a good strategy.
Cheater.
And the other thing is that if players around you don't have a walkie-talkie, they can't hear the other people.
Yeah.
So you can be talking to somebody that they can't hear.
it just sounds like you're talking to
I
yourself.
I would have to relay information to Brian because Brian didn't have a walkie-talkie, but
Oh, okay.
Gojo did. So it's very interesting. Like that's just a
Yeah, I mean
that
that's
kind of
one of
thing.
the things I liked about the Division was the proximity chat.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was just a really cool aspect to a game that I had never experienced.
But
It
it-
makes it more immersive too.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
What wasn't as cool is Jason wasn't after us.
Yeah, in the
That's true.
Division.
Yeah.
Now that's issue number one for me personally, and that has nothing to do with the game. It has to do with the people playing the game. Now that being said, I found that there are a lot of good people. This is a very new. I hesitate to call it a community of people playing the game yet. Hopefully, it becomes one eventually once
Yeah.
things start to kind of get patched and fixed. But
Yeah.
I will say the people I've met in the communities area. You can go to a Friday the 13th group. At least I play on PlayStation, so
Yeah.
you go in the communities area, and most of the people I've played with finding matches through that are pretty great. Every once in a while, you bump into a group where you're like, "Oof, yikes!"
because
But
right.
Yeah.
that's gaming, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Was-
gaming, so
I think I was playing with you the one time where, like, somebody was giving you shit about grabbing.
Yeah,
someone.
for instance,
like that. Like you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, there's a kind of weird random subgroup of people that are playing the game right now that get mad about you grabbing as Jason. They've invented this weird house rule where you have to smack them until they're limping and then grab them because it's too cheap otherwise. And I'm like, you can complain about a lot of things in this game. You can complain about the number, all the glitches.
I didn't realize like the special snowflake thing had evolved into video games.
Oh, it has.
absolutely.
That's are you
It's there.
fucking kidding me?
Dude,
Yeah.
they were like criticizing the way I was playing, and I'm like, that's part of the game.
It's called L2. Like, just hit it. It
you know,
works.
and that's what my thing is. If you're complaining because Jason is quote unquote OP, then you're playing the wrong game because that's the point of the game.
Yeah, have you?
Jesus, so
Clearly,
OP.
they've never watched a Friday
But
the
it's
13th.
it's
movie.
even like somebody
I
in
actually
Call
haven't.
It's like somebody in Call of Duty basically being
But even
like,
you know that.
Yes.
it's like somebody in Call of Duty being like, "Oh man, that kill doesn't count because you use your scope."
Yeah,
Like,
that's the
that's-
thing.
Well,
is-
it's like we were playing Destiny the other day, and some kid kept telling us to, like, not to shoot him. Like he sent us, he sent Gladish messages like saying like, "Hey, don't shoot me and quit using your hacks." And we're like, "We're not hacking you. We're, like, we're playing the fucking game."
It's
you
called
idiot.
aim
Like,
and skill.
It'd be like if they made a Jaws game and they're like, "Hey, you have to drown me as Jaws."
yeah.
Don't use your gills.
hey,
You gotta
have
swim
to-
into me really hard. You can't bite.
You
me.
got to come up to the shore and pull me in.
I
It
really
doesn't
hope
make
they
any
make a
sense.
Jaws game.
That'd be
Yeah,
pretty
right.
good.
Asymmetrical multiplayer.
That was going to be my question to you guys: is what other franchises do you think this game format would be applicable to?
You could do any.
Jaws.
Because
Any
I've got
slasher
I've got a
movie.
really good one that I'm going to throw out after you talk about
'Kay.
yours.
Any slasher movie works. Tim, you had an idea for. I mean, you
Well,
know,
I mean,
a little bit.
Nightmare on Elm Street would be the coolest because you could come
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
with different dream sequences, and also like the
Ah.
Dream Warriors style movie would work really well in a game.
You'd
where
have to have a
yeah.
level that changes too, like depending
Yes.
on your level of fear. like the environment starts to change and stuff. So like almost like in like Zelda, like there's dynamic weather in Zelda, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it snows like that.
Oh
but-
God, there's so much rain.
There's
like that, but the whole level shifts. The walls change
Right.
and stuff, and yeah. Go ahead.
No, definitely. No. That was the first one that came, just because there's so many cool things you could do with the level design and everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, any slasher, Halloween. What was the other one because we talked
Texas
about this?
Chainsaw Massacre
Texas
would be
Chainsaw
sweet.
Massacre would be fun.
Yeah.
Because you could even
Phantasm.
incorporate like his family members.
Yeah.
And stuff there too. God, Phantasm. Shoot him
Can
with
you
the balls.
imagine
Yeah.
Phantasm the
Yeah.
game? It'd be so cool.
not familiar
You had
with
to
that
fight
one.
little dwarf monks and
Yeah.
they'd like jumping at you and stuff. That'd be
But
so
I
cool.
kind of would like to see him in the same style of game.
It
I
works.
think.
Yeah.
I think it works
when
pretty
you
well.
can find
when
a
you
game,
play it. Yeah. I only play private chat now, or private games now.
Yeah.
I don't go online. Part of it is because that's probably why I'm not that far in the game. I don't want to be called slurs
Yeah.
in the middle of the
Yeah.
day. I'd
Yeah.
rather
No,
just
You don't want
It's not
people
your
talking
idea of
about
fun.
how they-
I'm just
like any
if it's later at
online
night,
game.
go for it. That's fine.
right.
Like any online game, that there's going to be the people like that
Right.
that ruin it for everybody. But yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else that I would like insert. Like maybe what's like a good. I don't know what other.
They made a
franchises I
Saw
would
game,
do.
didn't they? It was kind of sweet, wasn't it?
I never played it, but I heard it was actually not that bad.
Saw
Yeah.
would be cool in terms of the puzzles.
Yeah.
I want a Terminator game.
Okay.
That would be cool.
I would be down
That would be
for
sweet.
a Terminator kind of game. Like
And you
I
could be
just thought it was
different
funny.
types
Are you
of
ready?
Terminator.
Are you ready for me to
He just
blow
said
your
that would be
mind?
cool, and I'm thinking like, there's been a lot of these before.
Yeah, you have
But
something
I know what
better
you
than
mean.
all these.
But something.
Yeah, I do. I have a better idea than all of this. Anybody? I'm sure Alex is familiar, but anybody else familiar with the game Werewolves Within?
Oh yeah.
It's a VR game where you sit in a circle and everybody's like telling, like you ask questions to each other to figure out who's the werewolf.
I like
So
that.
it's a VR game. So imagine being in a VR setting like that, very similar to take werewolves with not sitting around a campfire asking each other questions, but
That sounds
imagine being
boring.
on like an Arctic station and having to figure out who the fuck is the thing.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That would
That's-
be the
Why didn't-
greatest game, and do it in VR. Like take the format of like having a bunch of people around who are like going about their day,
Mhm.
and you have to try and act normal, but you gotta fucking kill everybody. Like,
See, that would be cool if you, like.
and then Kurt Russell busts in with a flamethrower,
just
and you're
wipes
just like,
everybody
yeah.
out.
They'd have
well,
to,
they
like-
should have done it. What they should have done with it probably would have been way too hard. But they have a Part 9 Jason in this,
Okay.
and the movie's god awful. It's the only one I don't like in the entire series, legitimately. But in Part 9, the whole thing is Jason can jump into possess other people's bodies. So I'm like, if you're playing as Part 9, his special power should be able to jump into a random counselor
And
like
control them.
and control them, and so
that-
you can betray your own teammates.
that would be
That would be
awesome.
awesome.
It'd be neat, but I don't know.
Do they have a Part 9 in there?
Yeah,
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I think a Thing game, like a game about the Thing, would be awesome. Except the fact that I would want the rounds
Terrifying.
to be like weeks long. Like, it's just like several days where you're
Just
trying to figure
grueling.
out. Yeah,
It's actually one of those games where you just email back and forth.
yeah.
Right on.
What else about Friday the 13th? You know, we
I mean,
we
it
had
sounds
a lot
like
of
you guys all
stories.
really enjoy it. I mean,
Well,
do you-
here's
And we should go through some of the issues
Yeah.
a little
Yes.
bit more too.
Oh no, I just wanted to say the thing with the game is the best thing I can say about it is it makes me like I want to watch the Friday the 13th movie after I'm playing it.
I
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of do now too. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm missing out.
Which is
Dude,
cool.
you are.
The
Yeah, I'll be
gameplay
honest.
and the atmosphere and everything, it's really good. Most of the problems I think it has are fixable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In modern, because it's the internet connectivity, getting disconnected from games, any sort of that. There are some weird glitches throughout the game where like you'll get stuck somewhere.
Lots of texture-based stuff
Yeah.
happening where like you'll go to hide the tent and all of a sudden you'll see your head poking out the top of the tent and you're like, well, that's not going to help me.
Yeah.
But some
And
of
you
it,
also can't get out of the tent then. Yeah.
Or if you get out, you fly through the air.
see some of that stuff though. I even kind of like because I want my Friday the 13th game to be kind of janky.
Yeah.
They're, like kind of crappy. So, but no, that's the thing is the core concept and the gameplay is fun. So I like
Yeah.
it. I like it quite a bit. But yeah.
That's one of the most unique and fun online games I've probably ever played. It's just so different from everything else I've played in the past. I mean, I don't play a lot of online games to begin with, so maybe that's just me and my naivete, but I think it's unique in the way that they mesh the asymmetrical with the proximity chat, with the idea that you've got this one character that's hugely overpowered and you've got these different ways you can either work together or like be devious to each other, or like there's so many options.
And here's the thing: this game is remarkable for the fact that it was made by like 4 people, and they also managed to sell like triple what they expected to sell.
Yeah.
Like understandably so. Like the first couple days, the servers were straight up on fire. Like it was difficult to make it, like it didn't work super well. They've ironed that out, but right now the real big problem that's plaguing the game is matchmaking.
Quick play is a nightmare.
If you want to try and quick play something, it's going to take you at least 5 minutes to find a random match of people, which is why it's better to find communities on PlayStation to go and do that.
Yeah.
I know people on Xbox are very unhappy with this game because there's not systems like for some reason they're not finding ways to connect with games the way that people on PlayStation are.
Right.
Yeah, the quick play doesn't work at all from what I understand on Xbox.
Yeah.
There is another way to do it. I mean, if you have an Xbox One, there is a similar thing to the communities. Like it's looking for
group.
Yeah.
Looking for group. So people have been using that, but I understand people's frustrations, even though it is a 4-person team. I get both sides of it. You know what I mean? Because on one hand, these guys crunched all the numbers, looked at all their backers on Kickstarter, and said, "Okay, we expect 30 to 35,000 people day one." They had 75,000 people day one.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. That's over double what they anticipated. So their servers were destroyed.
Yeah.
But, and I think they're trying to recover from it. But I think they also have to battle when it comes to consoles. They have to battle with the fact that console certification apparently takes a lot longer than Steam. Steam, they can roll out that patch and be done with it, more or less.
Yep.
So they've been able to get to fix Steam stuff a lot quicker. And I understand the frustration from the people that own the consoles, because, I mean, I, too, would like to just go into quick play and just play a match randomly if I decide I want to. I don't want to have to, like, go into a group and say, invite, please.
Yeah,
right.
And that
or
sucks.
text all of your friends and see
And
when
say,
they're
please,
free.
let's play. Speaking of which, tonight we should play a little bit. But I get the frustration, but I hope that the game is cool enough, and like Tim said, the problems are fixable enough to where if they can get this stuff ironed out and people can be a little more patient with them, I really think that this game could have some legs. I do. I think people could be playing this as long as they keep supporting and releasing maps and stuff.
What about
for it.
ARMS?
I think it could. I think it could last a while. I hope it does.
Maps
Does
is a
ARMS
big
have
one.
legs?
Maps would be good. Yeah, if there were more I read.
Nice thing is this is only $40, so it won't cost you.
It's
an
only
arm and a
$40
leg.
too, yeah.
And I
won't cost you an
full-heartedly think this is worth the $40. As somebody, like, I was not expecting much out of this game. I was expecting to like it because Willie and Tim were going to enjoy it. But I personally enjoy this game a lot. And I think in the chat, we play on PS4. But anyway, it's the roadmap that they had for the Kickstarter people. They had a big set of stretch goals, and they have plans to do things like go back. Spoilers for no, I'm not going to say the Friday the 13th thing, but there was going to be another killer who's not Jason.
Okay.
That they were going to make and they were going to make a character for and completely like change it up a bit.
Oh, I know who it is.
They were going to do Jason X, the movie that takes place in space. They were going to make
The
a
space
stage.
station was
That
going to
would be amazing.
That's sweet.
So like
Zero gravity, please.
Maybe.
who knows? Maybe Jason can hit the zero gravity thing
But
and then just
wait.
make people suspend.
Would Chad be in space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would there be a bunch
fucking
of
hope
camp
so.
counselors?
They'd probably give
in
him an
space?
astronaut outfit, right?
They would have to change it out. Yeah, they'd have to add on astronaut.
Oh my
outfits
God!
for
What if
everybody.
Chad had an astronaut outfit, but he had the little cardigan like wrapped around?
I just want Chad to be like George Clooney in Gravity with his backpack and just be like.
Except his mouth, like.
But no,
I
so
don't do a good impression.
they have this
I
big
loved it.
roadmap of stuff that they want to do for this game, and I think if they start working towards that, I think it's gonna be like
The way you guys talk about it, the way I've heard a lot of people on Reddit talking about it, I think they may get that.
yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I think that's the biggest problem right now. Is it needs a bit more content.
Yeah.
And they definitely need to fix the bugs,
I mean,
obviously, and fix the matchmaking.
Do you guys feel like a single player campaign is something it needs, or could it stand on its own with the multiplayer?
It could stand on its own, but I'm looking forward to the single player thing
Yeah.
because
As a fan, I would assume you would want that.
And they're saying that you play as Jason, and their story, they're like story-based missions that are kind of based on some of the movies. So that'll be fun to like
kill counselors.
Yeah,
It's
in
like
certain ways
it's like the
too.
Haunting.
So it's like
Like the
drag
Haunting
so
for
and so.
Genesis, except you actually get to kill people.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it personally. I mean,
Cool.
the online is definitely the heart and soul of this thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
There's no
It's
question.
I
what
mean,
they-
that's what they built it on.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Exactly. But single player has potential to be very cool too. If Tommy Jarvis is like the final boss and you fight him in like the graveyard. At least
Oh, that would be awesome. That
Tommy
would be
Jarvis,
so awesome.
American Hero.
Tommy Jarvis
Yes.
American. We should say the beautiful, wonderful Gojo wrote a song rather about Tommy Jarvis.
It's beautiful.
The
that
American
he sings
Hero.
when he plays as Tommy Jarvis.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's really irritating if you're Jason and you can hear him in proximity chat
Tommy
singing the
Jarvis,
song. He's
American
basically
hero.
taunting you. I was so
So good.
happy when I actually
That's
killed him
Because he's
off.
probably got 25 pocket knives too.
Well, he's
No, he jumps
got,
in and out of windows
10
like
stats.
crazy.
He's got 10 stats on everything.
oh, really?
Yeah, because the thing is, if you die, basically, there's a way you can call on the radio. You can radio for Tommy Jarvis. That the radio's completely randomized in a cabin.
Okay.
So you can radio for Tommy Jarvis, and he's a character from the movies who's like Jason's biggest nemesis in the movies.
Yeah.
And apparently
so-
his face is made of plastic.
Yeah, kind
Well,
of.
just in the game.
It looks weird. But so if somebody dies or escapes, the time clock starts kicking in, and they can come back as Tommy Jarvis.
oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's usually me because I'm really bad at being a counselor.
You and Gojo are the two people that have been Tommy the most times that
Yeah.
I've seen.
I feel
but
like I'm gonna have to pick this up now.
I think
You're
you
gonna
do.
have
You
to pick it
should
up.
just
'Cause
because
we-
it's fun.
I heard it has share play. Does it not have share play?
It
Ooh.
might
I
have
believe it
SharePlay.
does.
Yeah, I heard it has share play, and I heard they're gonna open it up cross-platform
I heard
at some
that
point
too.
too.
That would be rad.
Which would be unbelievable because
Yeah.
I have friends on Xbox that were complaining about how they have nobody to play with.
Yeah.
So
See, so
Um,
tonight you need to get it, and then you need to jump in and play with us.
yeah, I'm down. I'm not doing anything else after this. Going home and playing Destiny, but I'm
why
down
don't
to.
you palate cleanse with a little Friday the 13th?
There you go.
It's funny because Destiny's normally my palate cleanse.
You need I'm trying to think of culinary terms. You need an amuse-bouche.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Maybe
So-
two of them.
All in all, you guys are satisfied with it. You like it. It's worth the money.
Yes.
Looks good. Is there creepy, awesome music? Like
The music's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, the
That's
score is
the
written by
best
Henry
part, I
would
Mancini,
say,
the
is
guy who wrote
just
all the music for the
The
movie.
music,
Awesome.
the sound effects.
It picks up in the right, like when he gets close to you. It's really cool.
that's sweet.
It's kind of scary. Yeah.
And
so
there's
it's dynamic music. It actually
Yes.
like
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
sweet.
when Jason is near you, it'll start picking up. But then there's also a lot of fake outs
Fake
in the
stings.
score
Yeah.
that,
or like
that will
Jump scare shit.
if you
kind
stumble
of,
upon
yeah.
a dead body,
It's like,
You'll get,
and
like,
you're like, ah. Yeah,
creepy
it's-
music
you
and
guys all
stuns
playing
you
with
for a second.
headphones on too, or you
Oh,
play with
no.
absolutely,
No.
absolutely.
surround sound. It's awesome.
God,
Surround
for-
sound would be good.
God
too.
forbid Brian doesn't put his diaper on and shits his pants playing the game with headphones.
No, it's fantastic.
And they got Kane Hodder to play Jason too.
Yeah.
He's like the guy who's known,
Oh,
probably
nice. yeah.
the most well-known Jason
Yeah.
of all the Jasons. And
Because of all the dialogue, you know.
well, he got to do all the. You can tell it's Kane Hodder though. Like
He moves like him.
he moves
yeah.
like Kane and he breathes like. I know it sounds stupid, but if you've watched these movies,
There's
as
a
much as
certain
we
way
have-
that Kane Hodder moves. He moves like a cyborg,
Yes.
basically, a lot
Yeah.
of the time. Yeah.
Right
It's
on.
awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
Cool.
cool, man. I don't know. Do you guys have a place to be, or do you want to stick around for the news bits?
It's up to you.
I can hang out. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll keep rolling then.
All right.
So I don't know what Alex picked up, but I'm gonna start with the Nintendo Switch Online. What do you call it? Service has been announced, and the price point is 1 month is $3.99, 3 months is $7.99, and a year's worth is $19.99, $20. That's cheap as hell.
It's a good deal.
That's a really good price.
It's a
They're
third of the
they're
price of the
undercutting
others.
PSN and Xbox Live.
Yeah, and as for the details here, this is going to include your ability to use the phone app to chat, which we'll get to shortly. But then also, instead of giving you 1 or 2 games that you can play per month, like they said they were originally going to do, like
Yep.
1 or 2 virtual console type games that supposedly will have online support and you can play those, they're now going to give you access to a library that they may rotate things in and out
with
of
multiplayer.
It's
with the multiplayer functionality
and this
built
is
into
this
it.
is going to be completely separate from the actual virtual console. So they are releasing virtual console. It's just not here yet.
I don't know.
They
this
have
is
not
what I this is what I
confirmed
heard.
that.
This
I don't think that's been confirmed.
they have not confirmed nor denied that.
This isn't.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they're
look
not.
it
They're
up.
not calling this virtual console, but it is something separate from that. So virtual console may die, may not happen in the same form that it has in the past. But, yeah, I don't know. $20 sounds great, but I think we really gotta talk about the chat shit before we can really
Explain the chat to me.
Okay, that's the next news bit. Is they released a little diagram showing off the Splatoon special edition Hori made headset. We put this on our Instagram account, Midwest Game Nerds, if you're on there.
Yep.
And the headset basically plugs into a splitter, which then also plugs into the Switch and your cell phone.
Yes.
So you then have the game sounds coming from the Switch into the headset and the chat ability coming from your phone into the headset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now-
So when you're sitting on a rooftop with your friends, you're going to look really cool.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't even know where to begin with this thing. So number one, if you have an iPhone, you need 2 dongles in order to use this thing.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because there's no headphone port
You should
anymore.
feel real comfortable in your pocket.
Number 2, the descriptions of this dongle is that these cords are maybe like 6 inches long.
What?
So you're either going to need to like set your phone over by the Switch while it's connected to your TV and then go back and sit on the couch. But I'm sure that headphone cable is not nearly long enough to get you back to the couch.
Yeah.
This is a mess.
It's a disaster.
How was Splatoon's single player? Like offline?
The single player is fun.
Okay.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, we weren't able to play together when we did it, but I mean,
Okay.
it was online. It's an interesting game. It's not what I was looking for.
No, but even like the single player in the first game.
But like the story mode and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
fun and it gives you
I'm
stuff
just
to
curious
unlock
because this
and
sounds
use.
like a pain. To
But
me.
here's the thing: is that the Wii U Splatoon did not have voice chat. So voice chat, you can win at Splatoon without using voice chat.
Okay.
It's entirely possible. Basically, you look at your map and you're like, my color of paint is not in this sector. I need to go over there and put it all over the place. So there's not a lot of big I'm sure if you're well coordinated, you can probably do work. Except for the fact that you're playing a bunch of people that are experts at Splatoon from the Wii U.
right.
But this chat solution is
It's a disaster.
Not good.
Again, I talked about this before. The one thing I want out of the Switch is to be able to hook my Bluetooth headphones to it.
yeah.
The system uses Bluetooth already to communicate with the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
it can handle multiple Bluetooth devices because you have 2 fucking Joy-Con. Throw me a third bone and let me use my headset that's Bluetooth with the Switch. There's no reason why you can't do it.
Yeah.
Other than software. It's something they can patch in without a problem, and then nobody has to worry about any of these stupid
Yeah,
cords.
but my feeling is that something that you were talking about in the comments of our Instagram with Pat earlier was that I think they are offloading the processor load of cross game chat to your phone so that they don't have to compromise what the Switch has to process and the battery life of the Switch in order to do voice chat. I think that's why they've got to
is
be
it
doing
really
this.
that much of a processor load, like for that sort of
You'd
thing?
be surprised. The PlayStation 3 can't do that. It cannot do cross game chat.
Huh.
So it's software intensive. There's something about it that takes a good amount of programming and at least being able to handle it in a way that is intuitive, like the 360 did and like the Xbox One does and like the PS4 does, takes a lot more than I think we anticipate it does. And Nintendo has never attempted this before.
I think it might also be a battery life issue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the processor thing's one and the same. Like,
So, yeah. So now you'll be draining the battery on your phone
Yeah.
and your Switch. So you have to get a even larger power bank to carry around in your other pocket.
I just feel like there's a better solution for this.
oh, absolutely.
And even if that's, I have to buy a battery pack case for the Switch to be attached to, I'm okay with. I'd rather have that than to have to connect my phone to it as well.
Yeah, it's not good.
There has to be some other way to do it.
This is like the Sega Genesis with the 32X and the Sega CD all over again.
Yeah, well,
Plugging
I mean,
stuff into other stuff.
the real question is like, who thought of this, and did they think of the consequences? Like, did they really like who at Nintendo was like, hey, listen, guys, we're gonna add more cords, bro.
I think this is more like, wouldn't it be funny if...
Nintendo's always been very cautious about online chat because
because of liability.
Because
like,
of liability.
Because they know that their audience is typically younger kids.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, but do they realize that like the average gamer is between the ages of 30 and 40 now? Like the people buying the Switch right now are older people.
I think if anything, the younger
Yeah.
crowds now are, and I might be wrong about this, are gravitating more towards the other consoles, and now
They're
I think
probably buying
Nintendo
the
is more of a
DS.
diehard older crowd.
Plus, I
That's-
think you kind of
yeah.
got to worry. Like in my experience, the younger kids are the ones who have the worst language.
Oh,
Yeah.
Friday
Yes.
the 13th, I bumped into a handful.
They say the most awful stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So it's a fundamental misunderstanding of a lot of different things, and so they
I hope
might come around to it at some point.
I hope they
but
reconsider it. I hope they come up with some better solution and they talk about it at E3.
I wonder
or
how easy it is for developers
to just
to
build it into their game.
Which I guess at
That
this
would be
point is
interesting.
asking Nintendo to do it every time they make a game.
But even so, if I can just have the ability to use my Bluetooth headphones,
yeah,
not being able to hook headphones to the Pro controller sucks.
Sucks, yeah.
Like that's stupid. Like there's no reason why I can't use my headphones.
Yeah.
Like that's a big issue.
it sucks.
So, anyways, what else? Oh, the Xbox Game Pass open for all users. It's $10 a month. Users get access to a decent selection of Xbox 360 games, backwards compatibility, and some of the older Xbone titles too. So, like Sunset Overdrive's on there, which is something everybody should pick up if you didn't get it for free. A lot of the games that were for free through Xbox Live Gold are now available as part of the Game Pass.
Yep.
I signed up just to take a look and see what's available. It's not much.
Yeah.
It's pretty slim pickings. It's a lot of stuff I've already played. A lot of things I'm not really interested in ever playing. So I'm kind of curious to see what they do with it. If it's gonna be one of the things where they're like, hey, you want to play some of the Microsoft like first party exclusives? Like this is the way to do it, just to sell the program a bit. I think that would be a good.
They could do
step
like
for them.
an EA Access kind of thing where they offer it like on
Yeah.
the Thursday before
a couple
it comes
days
out.
early.
Mhm.
So.
We just sold a.
We sold a copy.
They sold Friday
Yeah.
the 13th. Yes.
We're not receiving any kickbacks.
That's our
just so
homie
you know.
Joel from. I believe it's Joel, right? Tell me in the chat real quick.
From
Or
Replay.
is it Mickle?
I feel accomplished.
No, Mitchell Zaphod. He comes in as Zaphod.
Zayfad Beeblebrox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Joel, that is Joel from the Replay podcast in Australia. Our
Awesome,
homies
Joel.
that we love their podcast.
Thank you. Our sister podcast
Yeah,
in
sister.
Australia.
Do your accent.
No.
Do it.
Oh.
They're
Bloomin' Onion? No. Sorry. Anyway. That's all it is now.
Oh no!
That's
Well, we just lost Australia now, too.
I just saw
He's
Joel
like, never mind,
disconnect.
canceling download.
He already said he wanted us to do more voices. He really enjoyed that.
He didn't mean that one.
Yeah, he more or less wants to Arnold
Yes, it was
voices.
So we'll have
Please no more Scottsdale.
Do you remember when they had that X-Men VHS cartoon and Wolverine was Australian for some reason? That's exactly what he just sounded
He
like.
likes the accent.
Oh God. Those are the only two words I can say with an Australian.
It's okay. On their latest episode, Jordan did this hillbilly accent that was just hilarious.
That you're gonna say it sounded exactly like me.
he did a hillbilly accent and he talked as Keanu Reeves and I could not stop
Beautiful.
laughing. I died and I texted them on Discord as soon as I heard it because I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like,
I haven't heard that part of the episode.
oh,
yet.
it's so good. It's in like the
beautiful.
last 10 minutes, but
So it would be cool if Microsoft was like, "Hey, you can check out our first party titles first here,
yeah,
like the first
a
couple
couple
hours
days
of it."
early
Yeah.
or a couple hours or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that would be cool. I think that maybe that's something they're planning on doing. I don't know,
Yeah.
but again, it's a good opportunity to pick up games you didn't play on 360 because they've
Yeah.
got a lot of the backwards compatibility stuff that they've recently released. So it's worth checking out, I guess, if that's something you're into. If you have a huge library of games that you've never played and want to go back and do it. I personally don't really see anything worth paying $10 for at the moment, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's not going to get better down the
Yeah.
line. I think they've thought about this and they're still trying to get their edge in the market over PlayStation because obviously like they've fallen behind a little bit. And I think hopefully they'll announce something spectacular with E3 coming up too. So
If I remember right, the the virtual console for the original Wii was kind of slim pickings at first too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But even like they had like one, maybe two N64
That's. I mean,
games.
it's pretty. I think it's one of those things where they're testing the water with
See
it.
what
you know?
people do,
and
and
this is this is somewhat similar to the PlayStation Now, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you pay for PlayStation Now, you can like rent games or stream them.
Stream
online.
them, yeah.
This you can actually download the
Yeah,
game.
so you don't get any
for,
lag
for
or
30 days and
whatever.
play them, and then
Right.
you can also purchase them at a discount. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. It has a future. I think it'll just we got to see where it's going from there.
Yep.
So, Alex, anything else news wise?
I just had a couple quick hits. PlayStation 3 production has ended in Japan as we Instagrammed this week, which is
That's a big deal.
that's a big deal. It's a little sad, but
Somebody cue the Celine Dion, please.
yeah, exactly.
My heart will go.
Our hearts will go on.
God, I hate
but-
that
I
song.
thought you were talking about the power of love.
That was
You're right,
very
I was.
enthusiastic.
That's these
Alex, do you have a Celine Dion
Mm.
accent you can throw out?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
How French Canadian can you get with it? Because that was I don't even know what that was.
That was more of a Shakira, I think, actually. But anyway, no. Why? How did this become my job?
Will you sing "Hips Don't Lie" by Shakira right now?
And instead of pour one out for the PlayStation 3, it was a great system. Monster Hunter Double Cross is coming to the Switch in Japan. So basically, the Switch is going to be a very popular thing in Japan.
It'll be very successful.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Much success.
Hopefully, it comes to the U.S. Sometimes the Monster Hunter games don't because there's a smaller group of people that play them here. But it's very much.
But you could still sign up for the Japanese eShop or whatever.
Yeah. It'll be. I'm sure you'll be able to play it from whatever region.
You just won't be able to read anything.
It'll be all in Japanese. But really, the only other thing that I wanted to talk about, we can talk a little bit about our E3 plans after this. But there's a new Twitch channel, a new Twitch Plays channel, and it is Twitch Plays the Stock Market.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some man has put $50,000 into an investment account, and he designed an algorithm to let the Twitch stream vote on what stocks to buy for an actual stock market account. So he started with $50,000. I'm trying to find the.
This is like a Superman villain plot that you're reading off right now.
It's really just Donald Trump laundering his Russian money. But
Oh, jeez.
But his Twitch handle is Lex Luthor.
But I'm trying to find it's if you search for Twitch Plays the Stock Market, it'll pull up the actual stream. It's not live now. It's only live during actual trading hours. But
Makes sense.
I'm pretty certain the way that he has it set up, if the account drops below $25,000, then it stops. So I think there's like FCC rules that are not FCC, SEC rules that are forcing him to stop if it drops below that amount of money. I don't know how or why that works, but yeah. So that's kind of the lower limit. I don't know when he knows it's gonna, like when he thinks it's gonna stop. It's he said that in the future they might offer some kind of incentive or prizes if the people that vote do well for the actual fund that he has open. So it's kind of
this is gonna kill the housing market again in America.
it's gonna burst the bubble somehow.
It's the new Big Short.
I'm trying to get the final money count, or where it's currently at, so you'll know Monday morning what it's going to be doing.
Trillions.
I have the last video pulled up here, so as soon as this ad stops playing, I can see it. But anyway, I just thought that was fascinating. It's awesome.
interesting.
I wish I had that kind of money where I could just be like, hey, let's throw $50,000 on a joke.
I know, right? It's
On
pretty
a social experiment.
No
It's
joke.
pretty
He wrote an
indulgent.
algorithm for it.
Oh.
He says he's pretty confident in the algorithm that it's going to allow him to continue to make money off of it. He doesn't think it's, unless the stock market starts taking dips, he doesn't think the crowd will. He thinks the crowdsourcing aspect of it cannot fail him. So,
Challenge accepted.
but yeah, so let me go to the end of the stream here. They're currently at, it looks like just under $51,000, like 50,700 something, is where it started at on Friday. So I'm having a tough time pulling it up with all the Twitch streams and things that were going on. But yeah, Twitch plays the stock market.
Interesting.
Pretty crazy.
Interesting, yes.
So
Yeah, the only last thing I was going to talk about was we recently discussed how Square Enix was dropping IO
yeah,
and letting them take the Hitman franchise with them, basically.
yeah,
And they've come out, and a few other developers have come out and talked about using video games as a service now, as
Mhm.
opposed to just a product. I just wanted to kind of see what you guys thought about that.
seems weird that they would be getting rid of Hitman, because that was the idea behind Hitman, of like, you are going to pay us the $60 for what right now is a little bit of content, and over time we are going to grow it and give you more, because every week they had new elusive targets for you to
Well,
play.
it's even like Final Fantasy 15 is also like a game as a service system where you've purchased the game and they're still updating it with more content and DLC, and it just keeps coming. Which is, I mean, a lot of games are doing that anyways. But the argument is that we used to be able to just buy a game and that was it.
yeah,
And you're right, that was it. But we live in a different time now where like developers have the ability to update and fix bugs and do everything they need to do on the fly, and that costs money. So, I mean, if it's going to be a service where we're constantly paying for, like my fear is that it's going to become everything's going to become a subscription service, and I have to pay monthly to play the games that I love to play, and I'm just afraid that I'm already paying, monthly in a way to play online with friends, and I have to, not only am I paying for the service on the system, but I'm paying for the cable internet to do it at a relatively well set speed.
yeah.
And you got to buy the game.
Yep.
And you got to buy the system that costs $500, and it's just like it keeps adding up. So do you think this is something? Do you think it's going to head down that road where everything's going to become subscription, or is that a fear of yours at any point, or does anybody?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to see where it could go in the future. I think over time, maybe we'll start seeing things shifting from the more traditional, here's your game, this is the release, to the more service-based thing. I mean, it probably started with like EverQuest, would maybe be the first game as a service.
Yeah.
And then, World of Warcraft obviously was like the first big one, and it kind of has grown from there, which obviously that's an MMO, but I would say things like Hitman and even Friday the 13th, to some extent, they're going to add more content to it over time. Like those...
Destiny,
absolutely. So, I think we're going to start seeing more and more of it. I don't think it means that's going to go away. I think even if it means like I'm just going to get original style video games from like indie developers, if that's going to be where I go to get that type of thing, I think it'll be different flavors.
yeah.
I mean, what about you guys? Like, obviously, like we're more hardcore gamer types that are, we're buying games on a weekly basis, whereas you guys are the type that are buying certain games and playing them specifically. Like, is this something like as a casual gamer you would be afraid to approach in the future, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have enough subscription services as it is.
Right. Yeah.
I'll be honest. Like it's gotten to the point. I know it's funny. You and I have talked about this, where it's like every few months I have to think: is there anything I can cut? Like, is there any subscription that I
just cut my HBO Now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there something I'm not using that I just don't notice it taking money every month? So I don't know. I guess it just depends on I hope that I'm fine and I'm open to this being kind of a new avenue for video gaming to take. I think that there are places this will work and make sense. I think for big, massive multiplayer communities where there's constant content being added, whether it be by creators or players or whatever,
right?
I could see that fitting. I hate to see it, but I could see like Destiny would make more sense to me as a subscription service.
Destiny's already there anyway,
because it's just
almost.
Content, pay for content, pay for content, pay for content. I mean, if you could pay for that all up front, it might seem like more up front, but if you could just keep getting, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or a GTA makes sense for this to me. You know what I mean? I think they're already seeing some of that a little bit with season passes anyway. There's just so many games that have season passes now.
GTA is an interesting case because like all of the content you really didn't have to pay for, and they just gave it out for free in a way, because there are so many people that are buying up the in-game money to buy other cool shit, which cool. I mean, that's props to Rockstar for being the type of company that's like, you guys have treated us well, so we're going to treat you well. That to me if as long as it stays an option for me to subscribe to the subscription service but still be able to maintain the content, like I would be okay with that. I don't want to be forced into having to pay monthly for something where I'm not getting what I feel is the proper amount of content and use.
Yeah, and I think the important thing to remember too is, like, and I'm going to use Friday the 13th as an example, is, okay, so let's say they start to make that a subscription service, right? Now you're subscribing monthly to get whatever new content they dump out for Friday the 13th.
Right.
If you've got, an 18, 19-year-old kid who's working a part-time job and going to school and can't afford to be subscribing to stuff, but he loves the game and he loves, like, that's his way to, like, relax after work is to go off and kill teenagers on Friday the 13th. If you're offering people that can afford that subscription service things like Jasons that are like top tier better Jasons and stuff like that, to the point where this kid who can't afford a subscription service is getting his ass kicked every game because he can't buy that.
Yeah,
that's
pay to win.
That sucks. So it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to alienate people that, hey, they supported your game by buying it.
Right.
And they're keeping the online community alive by being an active part of it. But if you start to give special treatment to people that pay a little more, I don't know, it gets dangerous. To me, it can hurt. It can actually divide a community in a way.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
well, cool.
That's awesome.
Anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
There's a few that our brother is trying to get our attention.
Yeah, I already took care of that.
Yeah, he sent us a picture of his super duper Game Boy that I don't really have a great way to show it. Maybe we can use it as an Instagram post tomorrow or something.
For sure.
But he's made he's bought a Raspberry Pi and made a portable version of his
of a RetroPie.
of his RetroPie, so he can play all kinds of old school games.
Oh,
on,
cool.
like, a
With
portable.
rechargeable batteries and everything.
Yeah.
built
It's
into
cool
it.
on like a gamepad.
It's a Game Boy. It looks
Oh my
like
God.
a Game Boy.
He 3D printed like a Game Boy like shell for
See,
it.
that's
I think I have an actual Game Boy shell,
Yeah,
old
Yeah,
school.
It's
one.
pretty cool.
yeah. See, that's what I want. Yeah.
we could probably get you one.
That's the only reason I want the virtual console.
It's kind of
So
a bummer.
so I can play like Sunshine on
yeah.
Oh, hell
Switch
yeah.
or something.
It's kind of a bummer. We're starting to like wrap up, and now we have 7 watchers.
Yeah, it happens.
We should start the channel an hour or two early next time.
Yeah, maybe.
Just play the theme music over and
Just
over
let
again.
it keep going. Yeah. So one final thing here. Next week is E3,
Yep.
and I think we're gonna try something new. Something that Giant Bomb and other press outlets have started doing is basically talking over the press conferences. So if you guys like us and want to hear us talk about the things that are happening live at the Microsoft and Sony press conferences, we are probably going to do that. The Microsoft one, I believe, is like 5 p.m. Eastern next Sunday, the 11th. The Sony one is like 9 p.m. Eastern on the 12th, Monday night. And so what I'm hoping we can do is sit down, maybe start streaming like 10 minutes beforehand, watch what they have to present for the hour or hour and a half, and then maybe do a quick 15-minute recap at the end that we can release as an audio podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then that way we can kind of vomit out the information that we just got, and then maybe in the following episode on the next week we can actually talk about what we really thought about these things, what we're most excited for, what kind of sucked, who won E3. Sadly, Nintendo does theirs during the day, so we can't really live stream that one. We're going to be at our jobs. But that is something that we're looking to do. We will have more information out on our social media platforms.
Plus, on the Nintendo one, you'd have to hook up your cell phone.
Yeah, to watch the Nintendo one, you have to take your Switch, hook it up to your computer, and then also your cell
Plug
phone.
your cell phone in.
Actually, plus that doesn't come out until July.
Oh, and you got to plug it into your TV too, and the cable box,
And your cell
and a VCR actually, and one of those RF switches.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
throw that on there. As
You
Yeah.
gotta
well.
install one of those things like Neo has in the Matrix.
Yeah, you
Just
gotta
plug
jack it
yourself
right into your neck.
back of your spine,
And then just download it all.
Joel's asking if there's anything we're hoping to see at E3.
I want to know more about Microsoft Scorpio.
Yeah,
Me
that's
too.
that's
What's
the
that?
biggest thing.
It's-
It's Microsoft's new upgraded Xbone, basically.
Okay.
It's their Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
character.
it's
Microsoft
their.
Oh wait, that's
Scorpio?
Scorpion.
It's their
sorry.
it's their PlayStation Pro.
I thought it was a game based on the TV show.
So
Okay, no, that's cool though.
I want to know about the Scorpio. I want to know more of Nintendo's plans. I'm hoping like they've got some shit up their sleeve that they want to show everybody.
Willie, what are you grinning about?
Does it wear jean shorts? No one's gonna get that joke.
I got it.
Thank you.
Is it Hank Scorpio
But no, yeah.
from The Simpsons?
Maybe.
Are they just gonna bring him out on stage?
Maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Scorpio. I want to see what Sony does, but
yeah,
I feel like
think Sony's going to have some stuff for the new God of War, which I'm interested
Yeah.
in because I like the series.
I want to
but-
see some PSVR support.
Yeah, I'd like to. I think they're going to have a ton of that because PSVR
hope so.
exceeded expectations. So I think that's going to be cool.
They're going to have an Odyssey part, right? Super Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, I'm
Not
sure.
PlayStation, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
Okay.
sure Nintendo's
There will
going to
be
have
more
something
info.
about Odyssey, but
It should be
Nintendo.
playable. Actually,
That's what I
believe.
thought. Okay.
Switch in general, I think, is something like I'd like to know. I'd like to see more of what they're hoping to do over the next year or two. Like what other big releases
Yeah.
are coming out? What other first
Yeah.
party things? Because the first party games are obviously always going to be the best for the Switch. I think because who knows their own shit better than Nintendo.
Yeah,
But also, you talked VR. That I think it's. I can't remember the name of the game, but the new zombie game in VR that's coming out, Arizona something.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
I want to. I
don't
want to
know.
play that, and I hope it has aim support.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, I'd like to see some more VR, some more Nintendo. Scorpio would be cool. I'm sure Bethesda is going to have something awesome to announce because they always do. Even if it's just Fallout VR for PSVR.
there's supposedly a new science fiction type Skyrim Fallout game that's coming.
that Bethesda's working on.
Yes.
Okay.
And it sounds awesome.
I'd also like
Supposedly,
to
it takes
know-
place in the Fallout universe in the far future,
Oh, okay.
or in like
Hmm.
some other galaxy or something. I'm so
Yeah,
down.
I don't know.
I'd
I'm
also
very
like
excited.
to know what's going on with the CD Projekt Red game.
That's what I was
Cyberpunk?
about to mention.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Get a word in about that.
So,
But
yeah,
yes,
that's what I'm looking
very
forward
interested
to.
in that game.
I'm hoping there's a lot of good stuff, which the past few E3s have been a lot of great things. So
Yeah, I'm curious. Second place, Microsoft has been swinging big. I want to see what they got.
I want
First
to see
place,
if they
Sony.
have a VR headset.
First place, they already announced that there's an Acer one that's supposed to work with Microsoft products. First place, Sony's very lazy. I'm worried,
yeah.
but anyway.
Resident Evil 2 remake, please.
Yeah.
Something on that would be fucking awesome.
Or
right
even
now.
the
Resident
Resident Evil
Evil.
7 DLC.
I'm fine with that.
Or the Resident Evil 2
Until Dawn
VR.
2 announcement
Yeah.
trailer, please.
That would be
Until Dawn
cool.
2
It's
would be
about
great.
damn time for that. I think we all love that game. So
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
fantastic.
I think they
Until Dusk.
sure. That's cool to me. I'm into that.
Until the
Now
second
we're
dawn.
at dawn,
And more stuff out of the.
Now that's what I call Dawn
I like that.
2
I like that.
or just dawn.
With
The
a
game.
soundtrack by
From dusk
NSYNC.
till
By
dawn.
Cisco.
Oh no, wait,
Oh,
that
Cisco,
doesn't work.
yes.
to bring it full
All
circle.
around. And then more stuff on the Marvel partnership announcements because they had
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 different
Yeah.
partnership
Ooh.
announcements.
Ooh,
and
the
we haven't-
Spider-Man game's coming
Yeah,
out.
that looks
Spider-Man,
pretty
more
cool.
on Spider-Man. Like a villain would be cool. Like I'd like
Yeah.
to know who we're fighting. 'cause that gets me
Anything about that
excited.
game?
Just you have to fight other teenagers in high
Just
school.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huge,
You
huge
fight the
dudes.
counselors
Some
from
of those
Friday
huge
the
dudes.
13th.
Yep.
Chad's the
Chad.
big bad.
Chad.
Okay, oh, will we
Fucking
get a
Chad.
Chad announcement, like an announcement for a solo game?
That'd be great. Yeah, the Adventures of
Yeah.
Chad and Chad
Friday the
and
Chad.
the Sigma Pi.
Chad the 13th.
Hazing.
It's
frat pledges.
it's basically Leisure Suit Larry, but with Chad. But yeah, no, they announced a partnership with Square. I believe it was confirmed it's on an Avengers
That
game.
was
Yeah.
a
And
while
then
ago.
Yeah.
Telltale, that's already out. The Telltale
Yeah.
Guardians game
Yep.
is out. But then they announced another Guardians game with Eidos, I believe, behind the
Ooh.
Guardians game.
It's just gonna be
And then they've got Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Tony Stark with even more crazy hair,
Yeah.
super effeminate,
But
and
they have good hair technology.
the
out there
Hulk is
now.
now a summon spell.
Dude, I'm down. Let's do this.
So
All right.
yeah, while you're
End the show,
listening,
John.
while you're listening or even watching along, why not head over to MidwestPodcastNetwork.com/support. Check out all the various ways you can support us through the support store. You can buy shirts, hoodies, and koozies, and you can even donate money if you don't feel like buying anything. And if you do feel like buying other stuff, do it on Amazon through our affiliate link. And when you buy stuff through Amazon affiliate link, we get some money from that without it costing you anything extra. And most importantly, don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher so we can climb the charts: iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play Podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch. That's a big one here because we like streaming. We're going to do a little live stream, like Alex had mentioned, for the E3 stuff that's coming up. And if you like what you hear, even if you don't, please do send us feedback via email at midwestgamenerds@gmail.com or via Twitter at MGN Podcast. Don't forget to add us on Instagram as well. I want to thank the Horror Movie Yearbook guys for
Thank
coming
you,
in
guys.
here.
Yes.
Thank you.
We
It was fun.
really
It's
been a lot of
appreciate
fun.
it.
We had fun.
I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm always happy to hear your opinions on games and things.
Yes.
And yeah, what's coming up with you guys? What's the next episode? What's happening?
So we're doing
Let everybody know.
95.
Yep.
Yeah,
1995.
1995. We're watching Tales from the Hood,
Nice.
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight,
Yep.
and Species.
Yeah.
Right
It's
on.
gonna be very
That'll be a
sensual.
good episode.
You guys
Yeah.
just stepped out of the time machine from your furthest back
1968.
journey. 1968
Yeah.
came out this past
Interesting.
Friday. So
That's a big jump.
Listen to that one.
people check that out, horrormovieyearbook.com.
Yeah, you can
Yep.
see more of that at MidwestPodcastNetwork.com if you'd like, and check out some of the other shows if you get a chance. And hopefully everybody will tune in when we talk about E3.
Yes.
All right. Thanks to the dudes from the Replay Podcast, Joel at least, for jumping in here. I know Jordan and Mitchell were trying to at some point. We really appreciate you guys, talking to us and letting me talk to you on Discord because I love your podcast. So, yeah, keep up the good work, and we'll check you guys next time. Peace.